Good morning and sliding into afternoon. Judy Allan here in San Antonio, Texas. And today we're going to be creating with the Aspen Dies, but I'm also going to show you creating for a cause that we're doing for the Children's Hospital for Halloween and Thanksgiving. It's a little late for us to join in for us right now on it because everything's going to be sent to me by 1st of October so I can ship it out. I still want to show you because we're going to be showing you on a separate video and with Zoe and Anna Stamping on Sunday how we made some of these cards. So if you want to join us in making the Christmas cards for the Children's Hospital nonprofit, you could do that as well. So with that, let's go down the hands. I'm going to show you the dies and I'll show you what we're doing, okay? So we're going to be doing the Aspen Dies today, and it's a beautiful die set, and we're going to start simple, but today instead of starting with a 3x3, we're going to start with our standard size card because it was a little bit more simpler with the way I did it. But meanwhile, I wanted to show you creating for a cause. We're doing this for the children. They're in the hospital, and it's a nonprofit group that does through 59 states. So we will, Zoe and Nana will be doing live on Sunday at 4 and giving away door prizes. And we're going to start showing you how we made some of these. So if you want to make some, that's fine. If not, you want to do it with something else, that's fine too. But just to give you an idea how it was done. Okay, so just want to put that aside, but at least want to put that in there because we will be doing cards in October for Christmas for the children in the hospital. So if you want to join us, just message me and I'll tell you what we're doing. Okay, so here is what I've done. Now what's really nice about this, I've done two things. I'm going to show you how I did both, okay? They're both simple. One's a tiny bit simpler than the other one, but that's okay. And I'm going to tell you the techniques and tricks that we did here, okay? So just going to pull these out for you. This die here just sits in the middle of the paper and you die cut it. Now, one thing about our inks is they're watercolor inks, right? So we got watercolor based inks, and the thing is they absorb right into the paper. But you can sit up there and ink up this die. This die is metal and it is non-porous, so the ink does not dry on the die. Now I will have to tell you, when I did this one here, and I'll show you up close where you can see the ink. See the ink there? And I'll show you the other one that doesn't have ink on it, just so you can see the difference. So you can see the difference there, and I'll swap them around just in case you think. So you can see that there's a difference. You know, it's just because that I used a soft suede ink and I just lightly touched here. Now, the only thing I can tell you is it got a little messy because you got to keep in mind, if this is non-porous and the ink is not drying, that means if you touch anywhere that ink is, you'll get it on your hands. Got most of mine off. Yeah, I got it all off. But it'll be get on your hands, and I had to get something damp to wipe this off, as well as on the other side, because I end up getting, when I got my ink on my hands and this, I got it on my die, got it on my plates to do the die cutting. So I had to go clean up my own ink mess, right? Because nobody else is going to clean up your mess. You have to clean up your own mess. So just let you know, that's just a tip. So when you do it, I would do it and make sure you got to wait or you're going to grab it or know that you might going to get ink on it. It didn't smear on the paper or anything. All I do is flip it on the paper, or the easier thing is just take your paper like this and flip it, okay? So that way that you don't have to really mess with it that much. And that's just a lot easier as well too. So just some little tips there, because I did have ink all over me, okay? And wasn't trying to do that, but I managed. But it makes it very simple, right? Because all I die cut, I inked the die, and then all I'm doing is using that same color cardstock. And I'm going to put it down. I'm going to put it on with dimensionals, right? I could do it flat, but I won't. I'm going to do it with dimensionals, and that's it. I die cut, I did ink it, and I have to have ink out anyway, right? To sit up there and do my sentiments. So I just did it on the metal. And Bridget, if you're watching today, I know you'll love it because Bridget's into exploring everything. So if you're out there, say hi, hello, Jennifer. Even Jennifer explores things too. So Maybe you guys can go do it in a different color and give me some tips and tricks as well, because I would like it. I was making a very inky mess this morning. And that was okay. I knew I had to clean it up, right? Nobody's gonna come and clean it behind me. But then see, this is just beautiful on its own, right? I'm just gonna put it on here, and then I'm gonna turn around and just do my tag. And I've already got my message that I'm gonna stamp here. It is with love and hope. You know, it's that time of year. I'm using fall colors today. And I know tomorrow is the official first day of fall. It will be still 95 degrees here with a possibility of 97, and Friday's going to be 98. And all the way through the first week of October is going to be 90s here in San Antonio. So, while you may be in a part of the country where these aspen trees are out and you're going to feel some true fall weather, we are not. That's okay, it'll come eventually. Alright, then I'm just going to put this on here. I'm just going to put this on here with some dimensionals. And I'm just going to put one on each. But you want to make sure you center it. It doesn't matter if you center it to the side or up here. I'm going to put mine right up here. I want to make sure those edges are going to capture those trees right. So it has to have something to stick on to. And I'm just going to add, I'm actually going to use the iridescent ones today, because it really picks it up. The colors, right? The iridescents pick up the colors of everything around it. And that's just sort of what I'm wanting to do today. I could put ribbon on here, right? You could just as easily put ribbon. And I'm just going to put a little sparkle back up in here. And I'll put another little sparkle, a smaller one over here. And we could keep on sparkling around, right? So it's just a very simple, pretty little card, right? Alright, so that's one. This is my simple one. And I did another simple one as well, because I just wanted to show you how diverse this was. This one I'm doing on white cardstock. So the only difference, you could say I'm stepping it up in the aspect that I'm going to add this right here. Okay, I'm going to add this Night of Navy, so I'm actually adding some cardstock here. So you could say that I'm sort of stamping it up, but I'm going to show you my next step up when it's going to be a little bit more than just adding the cardstock, right? Because that one was just, the one we just did, I just die cut. And I just happened to die cut it with the ink on the metal, right, of the die. So it looks like I did something super fancy, and I just used what I had at hand, right? Okay, it looks like I have this off-center just a little bit. Let's see there. It is. Let me see if I can correct that. So just correct that right there. There we go. You know, you can, if something's off-center like that, just a smidgen or whatever, you can also just get your scissors out and trim it off, right? But I didn't feel like doing that. So, it's all about what you feel like doing, right? Okay, so this is going to be just as beautiful. Look how pretty that is. Alright, so we're just going to put our dimensionals on here, and we'll be ready to stamp it. Like I said, it's just nice and simple. It's really the die cutting that takes more time. Now you're going to be wondering about that 3x3 card. So we don't have, right, the small trees for the 3x3 card that we'll make. So I'm going to be using the leaves. But I did a little bit more stuff than just die cutting. So I didn't make that the simple one. Decided this was the simple one today. Surely the one I just did was the simplest of them. But just because I just took cardstock and put that over it. But it just shows you how simple and versatile this is, right? So I'm just doing this here, and I'm putting it right over it. And we're just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to stamp this, and I do know I have Night of Navy to match right here. And I'm looking right in here. Okay, that's what happens when I stack things. So I'll tell you when we get to the last card, the challenges I had with that. It's more of a normal challenge. It's just like, sort of like the little, when you sit here and you're working more than one project at a time, which that's what I'm doing. And you go looking for something and you've buried it. So that's what I sort of got into. It was like I had buried the leaves when I was working for this, and I wanted to be sure to show you the leaves, because they're just a lot of detail when you do the leaves. And then I'm just going to put this up here. I could easily put If I wanted, I could put a bow on here, but I didn't. I'm keeping it simple and elegant. I think the navy and white and black and white are so elegant. So elegant. I really should put on there that it's just beautiful and elegant today, because it really is. You know, the other combination that I really like is using silver and navy, or silver and black as well too, right? Those are all just very elegant combinations. Oh, almost put that upset. All right, and I'm doing with love and hope. A lot of people got a lot of things going on in their lives right now, and a lot of people need encouragement and hope. And I'm just gonna put this one on the bottom. I don't have to center it. And they do. I couldn't tell you how many people on the prayer request list, and just think of, there is over 500 children on an average in the United States hospital, out of all 50 states, on an average, 500 kids in the hospital. That is a lot of kids in the hospital that we don't think about. All right, so everybody needs, so just a very simple card, right? Simple stamping, simple die cutting, and we just add some bling. And like I said, we could always add a ribbon if we wanted to. We might. I'll have to think about that. All right, let's go to our 3x3 card. Now the 3x3 card, I did a couple of things here. Okay, so I die cut the leaves out of with the die cut, and I want to show you how detailed this is. So not only cuts it out, but look at all that detail. That was all the detail. Now I could have inked the die on this and got some darker color there, but I didn't. I just wanted a bunch of different color leaves, and I went with the ivory color here, the very vanilla is what they call it. Okay, so what I did with this is not only did I die cut the leaves, but I embossed. And the embossing with this is this here. It does all these autumn leaves. So I did that, and I cut it down. And that just made this a little bit more challenging because the fact that not only did we die cut, but I also did this. So I'm just going to put this down with adhesive. And I could have just as easily. So another tip would be is if you do want to, I had this already embossed and used part of it for another project I was working on. So this was my leftover scrap. But I could have just as easily opened up this card here and just embossed this, ran it through with the embosser just for this part right here, or I could have done front and back, right? So those are some things and options you have with the embossing folder that really just makes it nice. And again, this embossing folder, you can see all the details in those leaves. Now I could color those leaves, but I'm not coloring today. All right, but what I am going to do is I'm going to toss some of these leaves out here. I really like this gold one, and I got a couple more here. And we're just going to put some leaves together here, right? It's fall time. Our trees are not, if they are falling, it's because it's so hot. It's not because I think they're dying and it's not fall. But anyway, we have a combination of leaves here, and let's see what we like the best. And I did this just so you could see how you could do the different colors. This is actually gold, distressed gold. This is copper foiled, and this is crazy Cajun, yeah, something like that. Cajun Craze is the color. This is crushed curry, and this is none other than we already just used the soft suede. So, and I could easily just sort these out and just put them 5 leaves right here, right? I could. It would be just as pretty, and I might. I don't know. What do you think? Jennifer's out there. Jennifer, what do you think? Do you think we should just lay them out like this, or do you want us to do something different? I'm sort of liking it just like this, though. But I can be convinced to change my mind. Might rearrange the leaves a little bit to get a little bit more color. But it's just, I just want the whole leafy effect, right? Because it's fall time, and I just want a bunch of leaves. You know, and I don't have to put 5 leaves. I could just easily just toss around the 4 leaves and just give it some different, like this here, and then put our message in the middle, right? Let's just do that. Let's just make it nice like that. Unless Jennifer says something. All right, Jennifer says the layout looks good. Okay, I don't know if that's with or without that. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do our sentiment. We're going to get these down, and I think what we'll do here is a very nice, simple sentiment. It is from, it says Just For You, and it's from the Hope and Peace stamp set. And I'm just going to stamp this and cut it out in a square. And I planned on doing this in early espresso. Granted, I didn't have to do early espresso, but you know what? If I don't care for it, I'll just stamp again, right? But I think it looks just nice. And I'll just go right in there with all those fall colors together. And I'll just stack my stuff up over here, because I'm going to use this again. So the leaves, I'm just going to put them down. I'm not going to put them up with the dimensionals, right? Now when I do my message, I will. My sentiment. I'll do it. But you know, it just gives those nice different color leaf colors, because that's what we're going to be seeing. Even in San Antonio, eventually we'll be seeing a nice variety of colored leaves. It's just a matter of when. It's just not today. So for those of you in other parts of the country that your leaves are already changing and you're enjoying that, enjoy it, because it's like not happening here right now. Our biggest challenge right now is, are we going to go in stage 3 water restrictions? So it's nice to stay inside, be able to create, and take advantage of modern conveniences of air conditioning. You know, I'm just going to start turning my leaves around a little bit here, right? I don't like. Okay, let me just cut this out. All I'm doing is just cutting this out with scissors. Nothing fancy. I'm just going to do a little square. And I'll show you why, because depending on how I like it, I may just go ahead and add that other leaf on top of it or with it. But I am going to make sure it's like straight, right? Or at least close enough for government work. Okay, now see, I can just nicely put that Just For You right here in the center on some dimensionals. And I am going to use the large dimensionals. So I'm just going to put that up. And be nicely above both of them. Everything. Yep, I'm just using the scraps here. It's a scrap happy day. I was making leaves. You know, these leaves are nice to make from scraps. It's a good way to use up some of your scraps. And I'm really not going to put any bling on here right now. Might later, I don't know. I think the copper and the gold really, I want them to stand out. Now, however, if my husband says, he comes and sees the card, says, it looks like it's missing something. Okay. Again, we're just going to do that right there. It's just nice and simple. Nothing super fancy. The fanciness was what? In die cutting and in embossing. So you'll still be able to see all that. And I could put this leaf right here. I don't know if that's too much. What do you think, Jennifer? Is that leaf, this 5th leaf, too much if I put it to the side right here? What do you think? Anybody else out there? I know Jennifer's out there. Now I could put a bling. I could put a bling just right there on top, just to give it something there, right? But I think I'm just going to put that. I don't want to waste my leaf, right? I die cut. So it's either I put it on here, or I am going to end up making another card, which I'll end up making many more cards anyway. She thinks it's too much. Okay, well then leave it be. You know what though? I'll put it on the inside. Ha. Okay, I'll save that leaf and I'll put it on the inside for a message. So there we go. There is our simple, I shouldn't say our little stepped up card, but we did a lot more things with that one there. Okay, so let's do our final card then, which is going to be stepped up. And this is going to be a shaker card. And so I did come with choices, but I think I already made up my mind. I did make up my mind. So when I did this, just to let you know, this paper is what they call a snow paper, and it's fuzzy. It's fuzzy. It looks like snow. So when I got this here, we're gonna make this a shaker card. So I've already taken a window sheet, and I've taken the double-sided tape, and I've already put it on here. So originally, I was gonna see what you preferred. Whether you preferred the blue behind here, because we're gonna make this a shaker card, or if you preferred the snow paper, which is this, or we could go with a basic white. So originally I was going to go with the snow paper, but I decided I really couldn't see it as much as I thought I wanted. So I decided I decided I'm going to get everything I want. I'm just going to change it around, right? Okay. So I'm just going to do my cardstock. This is 8.5, which is regular width of 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, cut in half at the 5.5 mark on the 11th side. And I'm just folding in half. Okay. So I decided this is going to be blue. Okay. So in order to do this, I'm going to go ahead and center this right here. And I'm going to go ahead and put it down. And I already knew that I really want to make sure the snow shows up, right? For my shaker, it's going to look like snow to me. It may or may not look like snow to you, especially if you get real snow, but that's okay. It's about sending a card to somebody, making their day, getting them to smile. And that's what it's truly all about, right? It's creating, sharing, and giving. So, this I already know is going to cover this, right? We already know that's going to happen. So what I've done is I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to take off 3 sides, okay? And then I've already cut this so it lines up. Now, I will have to tell you, if you are working with the window sheet, it's clear, right? So the thing for me was I couldn't find it on all the stuff I had. And as a result, I cut it when I was cutting something else because I just didn't see it. It was just, that's how clear it was. It wasn't like it's smudged with fingerprints or anything, or chocolate or anything exciting like that. Oh, you know, I told you not to do that, and I just did it myself. Okay. All right. Well, that's okay. We'll work with it. Let me just put my scissors here so it can't close. Okay, because I have to have space to put my stuff in here for my shaker, right? So this nice tape is, we're not gonna see it. Okay, so I actually brought 3 things that are great possibilities, and I'm gonna use a little bit of them all. Now my daughter has done those bottles, shaker bottles, and she says it takes about 1/4 of a teaspoon is all that you need. So mine is going to be a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to take a little bit. I got my little 1/4 of a teaspoon, and I'm just going to take a little bit of everybody here, okay? And I'm just going to pour them in here, because I want it all, right? I want it all. So I'm just going to take a little bit of everybody here. I'm going to see if I can get enough to scoop in here. I feel like I'm in the kitchen cooking. I mean, use it here, except we're using it for here. Okay, it's just, I like them all, right? And I thought, why not? This one's got stars in it. So I'm just putting it all in here. Now we're going to have to see if it's enough. And see if I can shake it down. Now, that's the only thing, because see, if I left the top open and stuck everything down, you can see I wouldn't have to deal with this. But now I'm going to have to deal with it because I didn't do it right to begin with. But that's okay, right? It's not the end of the world. And it'll be okay if I have stuff on the side. The question, though, is do I have enough? Do I have enough? Okay, so let's see. Here's what I have here. Alright, so Jennifer, you're out there. Do you think I should put a little bit more in there, or you think it's okay? Because I just want it to shake, right? I want to be able to shake it. So, let's see what she says. If anyone else is out there, you can also say too. Because I'm telling you, I'm mixing it and a little bit more. So what she says, you know what, this time around, I think I'm just going to use my fingers. Because this one's got really low. Alright, and I'll add a little bit of this. I feel like I'm cooking a little spice of this, a little bit of that. Alright, so she said just a little bit more is all I needed. I'm going to go ahead and seal this baby up before I make a mess. Which, you know, I know I have to clean up, right? I try not to create too many messes, right? Because I know I have to clean it up. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's supposed to do it for you. Okay, unless maybe it's your birthday, Mother's Day, you know, a special day like that maybe. But otherwise, you make the mess, you clean up the mess, okay? Alright, so that you can see it, you can see that I can shake it, and that's the important thing, right? I like it. Okay, let me just put these aside before I dump these everywhere, because I have done that before. Trust me, it's easy to do. Alright, so all now I'm going to do is put my dimensionals on here and get this on here, and then I'm just going to put my message, my sentiment here. And actually, so what I've done for my sentiment, I die cut it out of that snow paper because I wanted to use the snow paper. I wanted to use the snow paper, right? And it wasn't working out the way I wanted it to for this background and all, and it's like I can still use it. So I am using it for my sentiment. And I've already die cut it, and I'll see if you can see the fuzziness of it or not. Get this off first. So really and truly, die cutting there's Aspen trees out is easy. It's just a big die, and it's oval shaped. So you just have to have your 4 paper by 5 1/4, and you got it. All right, so I'm just putting this right here. Looky there. All right, so all I have, look at, I love it. All right, so that's what I want. I wanted to be able to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna put my sentiment right here, and I hope you can see I don't know, see if you can see the fuzziness of it or not, but it's fuzzy. You can't see it. It's really hard to tell. Trust me, it's fuzzy. All right, but it is porous, right? So it's porous like the paper. It is paper. So I'm gonna just stamp on it. I'm not gonna have to worry about it drying because it is porous. Okay. In fact, if you rub your hand across it or your finger across it, it's gonna remind you of peach fuzz. Is what it's gonna remind you of. Now this, my stamp was really long, so I just did it sideways. It was too wide to go this way, so I just did it sideways like this. It's not the first time I've done that. It just makes it easy. I do have longer stamp sets, but I just did it. That was easier for me to grab that and do it. Okay, let's see how well we like the stamps. Okay, so that's a little bit lighter than I wanted, but it goes great with the paper and everything and all. If it really bothers me, I can always come back and change that out later. But that is what I wanted. But you can see as a result that I sit there and stamped on the paper, the snow paper, because like I said, it's fuzzy. Didn't quite get it as if I done it on regular paper. And let me get some regular paper and I'll show you. I have them. I don't think I have any white scrap with me at the moment. Let me just do them here though, just to show you the difference. Okay, because it's a delicate font and everything else, so you can see that, you know, it's definitely, the paper's different. It's not just regular flat paper, and that's just what I want to show you. So it's something to keep in mind when you're doing it, and you're going to use the snow paper. Because if you do want to print on it and do like I just did, you just need to keep that in mind. And I'm just going to put this on, let's see here if I want to do it flat. No, we're going to do dimensionals. Alright, I'm just going to use the lower dimensionals, the smaller ones. And I'm just going to put a couple on each end. Now, if you want to know what dye I used on this, I used the Lights Aglow, I believe is what it's called, or it's loose piece with that bundle. I'm looking for it as I'm talking to you. I'm pretty confident I have it handy. So it's just things to think about, right? It's always things to think about when you go and create, no matter what you do. See, I ran my hand across it. It doesn't smear. That's again because it's porous and it actually took it right on in. Yeah, this is Labels Aglow. Labels Aglow dye is what this is. So it punches out, you know, it punches out a nice little right there and right here, some little holes. Just gives it the airy feeling that I wanted. And I've got God's Blessing to You. And it's, you know why I like this? Because you can use that for a lot of things, right? Whether it's a birth, whether it's for Christmas, you can put whatever sentiment you want to go on the inside. But I like the fact that I have my shaker card. Whoop, whoop. There you go. I like it. Alright, so here's what we've done today. We actually did a little bit different. We started off simple. with this here. And just as this here was the same thing. It was really simple. Okay, we just different styles of simple. We step this up with embossing as well as die cutting, and this was all done with the die cutting. These leaves were all right, and then we stepped it up with a shaker card. I like it. I have to make more of those. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. It's always fun to create and share with people and everything, all right, because it's all about creating, sharing, and giving. So now I have to decide who I'm going to give the cards to, or I may have to go make some more cards because I'm on lunch with some friends, and I have 3 friends, so I usually give them the same card or let them pick out a card. So I will have to make some more. So there you go. Don't forget that if you are interested in joining us for our Creating for a Cause for the children in the hospital, we'll be doing it again in October for Christmas cards. So if you're interested, just message me and I'll get you the information, because anytime you create for a cause, they each have their own guidelines, and we'll get you the guidelines so you know what they are. All right? So with that, we hope that you enjoyed today and that you go out there and you share it, not only on Facebook, but also check it out on YouTube. You can rewatch it and pause it anytime you want. And also those pictures of those cards will be out there on Instagram and Pinterest as well. All right. See you next week. And don't forget, Zoe and Nana are live on Sunday on Zoe and Nana Facebook, right? Stamping. And we'll be giving away door prizes on Sunday and showing you how we made some of those Halloween cards. All right. See you later. Bye.